Well, welcome. It is Friday and our third day in this beautiful 5-day wetoo challenge where we are really deepening into our practice of living from the heart beyond the illusion of separation of our minds. And I just want to say, as you all come in here, thank you. Thank you for making the commitment to being here. Oops, hold on one second. Let me just record on Zoom in case we have a problem with Facebook, so we have a backup. But yes, I just want to really say from the bottom of my heart to you, thank you for being part of this community, part of this tribe that really is deeply committed to using our each unique gifts and capacities and coming together in this space of true belonging to yourself as sovereignty to your heart, and also sovereignty to my connection in helping the big cats by feeding the small cats in your contribution of being here. Hi, Sue. Hi, Sherry. Thank you for joining me. I know it's Friday and you probably have better places to be than here. So I really just want to say thank you. I value your commitment to really contribute energetically and from your hearts out into this big cosmic soup of really uplifting these old densities and vibrations to create a new earth, and to really acknowledge that we need you. And I see you, I honor you, and I am in deep reverence of your being here. Hi, Oksana. So good to have you all here. And thank you too for your vulnerability in sharing inside this very special tight-knit group of women that are really holding this red thread, and knowing too that while you have your piece, I wish you were closer so that we could do a ceremony of really just deepening into this connection that we are all part of this web that has no weaver. And yet the piece of red thread that's wrapped around my wrist and your wrist, whether it is physical or imagined, tug on that thread. Know that we are here to support each other, and that we're pioneering a new way, to create a better place, not just for us, but in the way that we are showing up in support of the earth, who is really suffering underneath the old laws of destruction rather than creation. So give me a hell yes. Thank you for being here. And if you have any questions from the last 2 days, I welcome Tracy, who came in late today. She's a beloved soul sister of mine that I had the honor of meeting in person and loving. Her and her family, who gave me shelter while I was visiting in America. And she's another incredible light worker who is bringing her contribution into this group. So just like I thank and honor and acknowledge all of you, let's welcome Tracy into the group as well. And let's just dive into today's training, because it is Friday and it's probably been a long week for you. But celebrate your small wins, and just know that we're looking for those 1 degree incremental shifts to really bring us into a new way of being with these energies. And your willingness to step out of the mind of wateeko and employ the mind to work for you and back into the flow of employing your vision. Thank you, Sherry. So, as I said before, these are not new ideas. These are the basics of what it means to really be human, and to know that there's no magic bullet or quick fix, but it does include a deepening of your commitment to know that you know your no's, so that you can get to your one true yes and really trust that you have got it. When you have the basics and the foundations of trust, your life works because you work. And you work as and through nature. So to continue with these basics today, yes and your no are your foundations, right? It's one of the 2-5 basics. And we need to look at where our boundaries are not strong and where we don't have boundaries in place, because not knowing your no is just the opposite or the inside of not knowing your yes. And knowing when to say yes and when to say no, back to the timing issue, is very necessary in cultivating healthy boundaries, regardless of our circumstances. So in other words, just say we're doing a good job. You're grounding every day, you're working on your energy body, and then you walk out the door, and by 11 a.m. on a bad day and 2 p.m. on a good day, your boundaries and your groundings have gone to crap. So, okay, acknowledge the good start. But the issue now is, what are the yeses and the nos that you need to learn to say in your life that are going to allow you to maintain a healthy grounding and boundaries as you move through the day, no matter what your circumstances. And the circumstances around Africa and America have changed, and this is really scary, and why it's more important than it was before. It's always been important, but it's critically important today, as we see the grips of the old patriarchy sort of leaving with a big fight. And I think these are fundamental in you and your energy body that is being made healthy by your yes and your no's, to be able then to engage with the world, right? This world of crazy. So back to the setup of the beginning of our 5-day challenge. What is reality, and who are you choosing to be in that reality? And the absolute basics of doing just that, which is pretty fundamental, before doing any of the other advanced work, is really learning what I teach in the trust process, which is to say it like you mean it in your body, aligning with that in absolute truth and right timing of your yes, no, thank you, please, and I'm sorry. And to really, really mean those things, and to be able to use these things as the magic you're spelling into the world in right timing. And I know I'm preaching to the converted, because you are all beautiful lighthouses, but I really want us to get that this is where we stand in our truth, deeply, deeply rooted into the purpose and meaning of trusting your intuition, following your own truth from your gut knowing, so that you can express what motivates and moves you around the things that you care about most deeply, but also looking at reality. And this is what cultivates authenticity. You all know this. And you know that you have honor and integrity, and you are deeply rooted into trust, or at least remembering how to trust yourself, so that you can trust others, and all these beautiful attributes that have and always have been within you, in the divine God, goddess within you. And I know, the 4 agreements of Don Miguel, which is just, again, a reminder of these ancient teachings of being impeccable with your word, being a trustworthy leader, and knowing that you are a member of this tribe, this pack, this tribe, this herd, this village, that they can rely on you to be there when you are needed to be there, right? In this space of being you. And this is really where I want to go today, is permission to be you, saying yes to opening up, to give yourself permission to be the observer as well as the willing participant of your life, and how you are affecting others that you might not even know that you're affecting in that reaching out, and getting into the relationship and the element of the earth, right? Life, connection, interconnection. When you think about how we always start with an invocation and a presence to look to the element of earth, right? We come from the earth, and we are part of earth. And as much as we are asking Gaia to support us in staying deeply rooted in our truth and show us how to be better human beings, we are also contributing back to nature as part of her. And this deep connection, because it's connecting here to the element of earth. And for those of you who love my work with the Chinese medicine, and we want to track this in TCM, we're talking about the spleen, pancreas, and stomach meridian, right, which are all governed by earth. So all of you with digestive issues, or your animals with digestive issues, listen up, because when we have cultivated the ability to have a balanced and timely yes, then we are open to caring and empathy with ourselves and with our others and with our environment. In fact, with everything in this big web of life. And when we express ourselves in that through fairness and compassion, compassionate listening, and we value the actions that cultivate centering ourselves, right, as the center of the earth, and the actions that often drive us off center when we are not deeply grounded with the earth. So when we don't say yes when we need to, so the deficiency, when our yes is deficient, this is where we cultivate apprehension and insecurity and worry and rumination, and we decrease our own inner trust of ourself and our body, right? And too many yeses is always an indication of a weak spleen pancreas, which is one in Chinese medicine, where we're not trusting our inner knowing, right? This is the pure and impure thought, the subconscious knowing. And when we go into prayer in reverse, which is worry, which takes the pure and the impure mind, the thoughts, the feelings that it generates, the emotions that it brings up, and it takes us into this pathological pattern, right? Where we're excessive or deficient of confusion, distrust, worry, distraction, because we can't see our own truth, which is clouded by wateeko, right? The virus of the mind that we've been talking about over the last couple of days. And this is where we need the ability to have a healthy and timely balanced yes, when we're open to our caring and our empathy, not just with ourselves, but with others and the environment, with everything, with the animals and everything else that we're connected to, and how we express ourselves in that through, as I said before, the fairness and compassion and the value of our actions that cultivate centering ourselves versus valuing actions that drive us off center and away from our North Star. So when we don't say yes when we need to, the deficiency, as I said before, when that yes is deficient, this is where the worry comes up as a distraction and takes you away from trusting yourself completely, right? Too many yeses. We get worn out, we burn out, and it creates this apprehension and insecurity, which I know very, very well, and I know you do, which is kind of like, I need this road to be concrete, but it's tissue paper. That's the apprehension and the insecurity of being out of balance with our yeses that are deeply grounded in the truth of who you're being. Saying yes when you don't mean it. And the other one can be saying yes, right? All you people pleasers out there are recovering perfectionists of saying yes when you don't need to and reaching for that thing and then you don't. So the other option is you say yes when you don't really mean it. It's not a real yes, it's a false yes. And this creates that horrible worry that takes you out. And for those of you who don't sleep at night, I'm guilty of that because you're worrying so much. Listen up, because worry obviously leads to frustration, which can build into anger. And when that yes relationship is out of balance or deficient, as we express ourselves, we become selfish, isolated, and very self-centered in our behavior. And when we are in excess, so the pathological consciousness of the spleen, pancreas, the stomach, which is all around discernment of the earth element, of heart, digestion, and remembering who you are, this is where you go into selfishness, the isolation, and all the other things that take you away and feed wateeko in this illusion of separation. And where excessive worry or pity or stubbornness comes up when you're in excess. So give me a yes if you're following. I'm going to keep this short today because I want you to journey and give you some questions on where you can meet the elemental of earth, not the planet earth, but the element of earth, and ask to be shown a way to understand where you're out of balance with the element of earth. And given that answer, your next question is going to be, how can I work with the earth element to create more balance? And for many of you, as you work with the elements and the elementals, it could be that you create a shrine, an indoor and outdoor shrine, whatever it looks like for you, an altar of sorts where you place various aspects and elements. You could use the medicine wheel. You could put all your stones out on your wheel. You could bring in some soil, you could bring in some plant medicine, just anything that's going to be your place to give deep appreciation for the earth and to yourself, who is made up of the earth, right? Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. And the other thing you can do is ask your helping spirits to show you the 3 yeses that you are saying or not saying that are the most harmful to you. And these are the detrimental energies where you need to look at the yeses of that from a place of the quiet observer. And this could be a place where you need to be saying yes where you're not, or a place where you are saying yes and you need not to be. So you're really looking at the yeses that are most harmful, and then based on that answer, asking, how can I transform this situation for yourself? And then what are the next 3? So far, so good. Give me a thumbs up or a yes if you are saying it like you mean it, and that you're going to be wanting to ask this as you journey into the weekend and be impeccable to your word. Thank you, Sue. So, keep in mind as you deepen into this practice of permissions to really ask from a pure heart, and where so many wise Taoist teachers have asked, of how many no's does it take for you to get to that one true and pure yes that comes from your heart, from your lion heart. And if you want to engage your body, who is your greatest consciousness facilitator in your living legacy and your evolution of your contribution, use your body as a pendulum. I did post some links to some YouTube videos on how to do that. I think earlier on in our challenge, of how you can know your no and trust your yes, and then follow through with it, and not negate what your body's asking, because when you don't, that's when your body screams at you and turns the volume up, and that you will identify as symptomatic, symptoms of disease or illness, and give you the tools that you have intrinsically within you to do the necessary change that you've been asking for when you follow through, right? We're always looking for intentional creativity. We're looking at focusing our attention on what we are appreciating so that it can appreciate. And in this lesson today, it's really about appreciating the no's, the multitude of no's that you need to have in order to get to that one true yes, and really being gentle. I always say this: tread gently on the soil of the earth, because you are made of that soil. And look at, how are you tending to your internal garden? What seeds are you going to plant from that one energetic hell yes that is going to give you those incremental 1 degree shifts to enlightenment, to your growth? That you are here to contribute your gifts that are only unique. They're unique to you. No one on the planet has your gifts, your stories, your solutions to what you have come through in all those no's, and in oftentimes where we have to look at the contrast of, the duality of that when we are in pain, instead of avoiding pain, we've got to go into it and sit with pain. Sit with it as the earth sits with the seed that is in its own stresses as it pushes through the soil. And treat yourself as you would that tender shoot, or that beautiful, innocent little baby that's looking to you to create the safety from your yeses, from your grounding into that. And looking at, how can I be the best version of myself, aligned with my soul, aligned with my spirit, aligned with my heart's knowing, my gut knowing, right? That quality of earth, on where you are not digesting life because you are trying to buy a lie and make it true. So that's it. For once in my life, I managed to keep it short and sweet. So if you're listening to this replay, because big shout out to Oksana, to Sue, to Sherry, for being here live and being on this journey with me, and contributing to this beautiful container that we're showing and sharing together in what it feels to be in true belonging, where the heart exists beyond the judgment of the mind, right? The wateeko that makes you go into doubting your capacities, doubting who you're being in the world, and doubting that your work matters. Just being you is enough. So trust that. Have a beautiful rest of the day wherever you are. My family isn't home yet, but I'm sure they're going to be expecting dinner in a minute. So again, deep appreciation for you being here with me. And I will see you back here tomorrow on the other side of your yes. So play work for today. Let's get the energy moving in this group. Just post what you're saying yes to. And also if you're daring greatly, which I know you are because you're in this group, to your lion heart, to your message of being a child of the sun god that knows that your light makes a difference in the world and makes those little shoots grow into big, strong, wise trees for, remember you're the ancestor of generations that haven't been born yet. So what yeses can you share, and what wisdom from all the no's that you have said in your life, or the ones that you didn't, and that you are giving yourself permission to say no to now, in strengthening your boundaries and your foundations to be deeply rooted into the ground, like these beautiful trees behind me. We need you because you are that ancient wisdom of the wise tree. And if you are not there, then the young saplings that are pushing through now don't know how to be great trees. They don't know how to impart their wisdom and their truth because they don't have the wisdom of the old trees, which are you. And I'm not bringing age into this, but I would love for you to just type in the comments below what you are committed to. Just one yes and one incremental shift that you're going to take today in knowing your no and being very fierce in your wild woman essence of that, to bring that into being. And if you didn't join me earlier, this is something that's very deep and precious to my heart. And I love what Clarissa Piccola Este says, and I'm going to read this to you and then end the call today. And she says, we are all filled with a longing for the wild. These are few culturally sanctioned antidotes for this yearning. We were taught to feel shame for such a desire, and we grew our hair long and used it to hide our feelings. But the shadow of the wild woman still lurks behind us during our days and in our nights. No matter where we are, the shadow that trots behind us is definitely four-footed. So tap into your animal body, the predator and the prey aspect of you that knows the divine timing of your yes, your no, and do that again, and I will chop your head off. Be willing to use the killing energy as the greatest kindness to others in staying true to your true north, and roar like a lion, baby, because we need you. All right, lots of love to you. Thank you for being here. Have a beautiful Friday, and I'll see you back here same time tomorrow. Bye. I love you.